Welcome to Governance Now. This is Geetanjali Minhas and you're watching Checks and Balances. India is the fastest growing aviation market in the world and the third largest after UK and China, and expected to grow multifold over the next few years. With the Indian aviation market taking off after lifting of COVID-19 imposed restrictions by the government of India, a large number of technical snags are being reported across airlines, causing serious safety concerns. A recent survey has highlighted that 3 out of 4 passengers are concerned about their flight safety.
Your attention please. Indian Airlines announces the departure of their flight. Passengers are requested to proceed to the aircraft.
On July 28, Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia informed the Lok Sabha that a total of 478 technical snags are reported over the one-year period from July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. The DGCA has said that the technical snags in recent weeks do not have the potential to cause havoc. The Indian skies are perfectly safe and all the protocols laid down by ICAO are being followed. Poor safety culture and lax regulatory oversight is causing serious concerns on flying. The DGCA, which is the regulatory authority responsible for air traffic services and air safety, is a cozy club of IAS officers, when instead it should be having technocrats. Governance Now spoke to Captain Mohan Ranganathan in Chennai, who is the former member of Aviation Safety Advisory Council and retired airline instructor pilot, and this is what he explained to us.
The question is, he's talking of 400 plus which were reported, but there are many snags, especially in the airlines in India and many airlines worldwide, the low-cost ones and third world countries, they don't report the snags. It is all done verbally, because if you put something down in black and white in your take log, then they have to rectify them. Snags are in 3 categories. Aircrafts come with what is called a minimum equipment list, and it'll be category A, B or C. If it is category A, it has to be rectified the same day. Category B, it'll have to be rectified in 72 hours. And category C, it'll have to be rectified in 10 days. What airlines do is they pressurize the pilots. They give a verbal report to the engineer, and the engineer will talk to the next captain, and it continues. It's actually a serious issue because it's cost-cutting and infringing on safety. As long as nothing happens, it's fine. But when something happens, it's going to be big. And then the airline will claim that it was not reported. If it was reported, we would have taken action, and they've been doing financial audits on airlines, but they never tell the public what they found. So it is all, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. It has been going on for years. People don't have the principles like what Lal Bahadur Shastri did when a train accident took place, he resigned. But the present lot, whether it's the DGCA or the minister, they will never get off their seat. The problem in India is we have the weakest judicial system anywhere in the world.
However, Jitender Bhargava, former executive director of Air India and author of the book The Descent of Air India, said,
the reality needs to be understood. I fully agree with you that IAS officers are not competent enough to run a regulatory agency, just like they were not competent enough to run Air India. And we all know what they did to Air India. But you cannot run down the regulatory agency. It is as good an agency as anywhere else in the world. There are issues, I'm not denying it. The aircraft were grounded during the COVID period when the flights were shut or operated only in a limited manner. When an aircraft is inducted back, pilots have to be trained, because pilots have also not been flying the amount of flying that they do. and they're supposed to go for their simulator training every 6 months to keep their license going, etc. But to say that faults are a reflection on the regulatory agency that is not doing its work, I wouldn't subscribe to that point of view.
When we asked why airlines source parts from cheap markets like Russia instead of Europe, here is what Bhargava said.
Unless the manufacturers have approved licenses, there cannot be supplies, and it has larger implications. At the moment, if there's a Boeing aircraft, then Boeing is underwriting the entire thing. Should anything go wrong, they will deny, or the insurance company would deny the airline compensation in the unfortunate event of a crash. Unless the Russian company that you are stating has been certified as an authorized manufacturer and supplier, an airline will not buy or cannot buy. So safety, no airline would ever compromise.
On the other hand, Ranganathan countered and said,
when the income drops, what the airlines will do, the first thing they'll cut back is on maintenance. They'll stretch the spare parts, and like one of the easiest things to do is what they'll do is, like if it's a category C, on the 10th day, they will take out a defective part from one aircraft and they'll take out a good part from another aircraft and they'll switch them. And DGCA audit, they just go and have samosas and tea and then sign off and come saying they've done the audit. The DGCA, they're not regulators, they're only facilitators. Now, the captain who takes that aircraft will say that this particular part is not working. Start a category C fresh the 10 days. So if an airline has 10 aircraft, there's 100 days they can stretch it. This is how they cut costs in the maintenance.
besides concerns of flight safety, a large number of complaints are being filed against the rude and condescending behavior of airline staff across airlines, including SpiceJet and Indigo, which has the largest market share. And these complaints are being filed with the Ministry of Civil Aviation. In the month of July alone, 30.3% complaints pertained to the bad behavior of airline staff.
Airline employees also get stressed at times. When a flight gets delayed, there's heavy rainfall, flight disruptions is taking place, you got to look at this thing. We would like this to be taken note of if we are in that situation. But unfortunate part is we don't look at the constraints under which they are working. Having said this, yes, airlines need to be sensitive to passenger complaints. Airlines have been in the business for long. They know that people are with different temperaments. Let me have the entire system made out in that manner that there shall be no complaints.
While there may be constraints on the part of airline staff as well as the passengers, but airlines is a service-oriented industry and duty-bound to be polite and courteous to its patrons. On the redressal of another area of heartburn among air travelers, air ticket refunds, where the cancellation charges are non-uniform and arbitrary, we spoke to advocate and consumer activist Anand Patwardhan, who is also the Honorary Treasurer of Council for Fair Business Practices, and he said,
there is no direct grievance redressal system. I would suggest a group or few complaints that people want to make, and those who have made complaints to the DGCA. They could also make a complaint to the Central Consumer Protection Authority, who can take up this matter as suo motu after receiving such kind of complaints. They can investigate and take it up. They need to have a separate regulatory body which will take care of these kind of issues. If not regulatory, let us say redressal body, which will be able to help assist the consumers.
However, Jitender Bhargava said,
You see, airlines are being run by professionals. We need to appreciate this fact. Airlines are not a charitable institution. We also need to appreciate this fact. They are there to survive in the highly competitive market, price-sensitive market that India is. I would, as an ex-airline person, only say, let there be better understanding, appreciation of how an airline is run.
Governance Now also spoke to Advocate Jose Ibrahim, President of the Pravasi Legal Cell, the NGO that filed a public interest litigation in the Supreme Court for full refund of booked tickets during the lockdown imposed by the government of India in the COVID-19 period. And this is what he said.
We filed a public interest litigation before the Honorable Supreme Court of India stating that the refund process due to COVID pandemic, as far as the airline tickets are concerned, there is no proper system. So the Ministry of Civil Aviation has to come out with a proper system as far as the whole tickets which are cancelled due to the lockdown and the subsequent pandemic. The Supreme Court has given a specific verdict as far as the whole refund procedures due to COVID or whatever it may be. Now, civil aviation requirement is the law or the instructions which are governing the refund process in airline tickets are concerned. So as per that, the laws are or the instructions are there. But in practical, it is very, very difficult for a passenger to get the complete refund. That also within a prescribed time limit. To get proper refund is concerned, it's a Herculean task. If the airlines are taking some more time for the purpose of payment, then the airlines are supposed to pay the money with a slight interest. Now, Ministry of Civil Aviation, they have a grievance portal known as Air Seva portal. But unfortunately, this Air Seva portal, they don't have any judicial power as such. One of the best way to strengthen the whole process would be this online grievance portal can be strengthened. Nobody is there to take up these kind of matters. There were around 2,000 crores of rupees were refunded by various airlines. So refunds were there. But as a lawyer, I know that there are many consumer forums. Still, the cases are going on for more than 2 years. Just for that refund money. It is totally unregulated. On paper, there are mechanisms, civil aviation requirements are there, instructions are there, that is clearly providing in case of cancellation, what is the time duration, how much money can be deducted, how much is the refund. Everything is mentioned, but in practical, in practice, the passengers are not getting refund. That also in time. The proper amount they are not getting. In all walks of life, we can see tribunal with judicial power. So why can't we have a proper tribunal for this matter? A Supreme Court has given a verdict. Now, if any airlines are not following that decision, then the particular individual has to file a matter before the consumer forum, or they can approach the normal civil court for appropriate remedy.
Justice must not only be done, but also seen to be done, goes the popular dictum by Lord Hibbert. Laxity of the regulatory environment, weak enforcement, strengthening of the Air Seva portal, and setting up of the tribunal are just some of the areas that the Civil Aviation Ministry needs to consider. Thank you for watching Checks and Balances.